From Royal Communications Incorporated, good evening and welcome to King's Newsroom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Today is Tuesday, July 1, 2025, and I'm Sherman Dia presenting. In the headlines, all county district fire into Marvin Cole and several other lawmakers accuse Speaker Richard Cohn and Deputy Speaker Thomas Fala of mismanagement of lawmakers, gas leak, and other benefits. A serious tension broke out in section. Government of Liberia, religious groups, and family members of slain President Richard Aratobo Jr. will stage memorial service in Monrovia to honor the ex-president and 13 officials of his government executed in 1980. And also in the news tonight, Supreme Court of Liberia announces 11th-hour cancellation of former Finance Minister Samuel Toy and four others corruption case legal hearing as prosecuting lawyers demand recuse of outgoing Chief Justice Yanin Blow from the case. Away from home, some 76 Ghanaians who were trafficked to Nigeria on a fraudulent recruitment scheme have been rescued, Ghanaian police say. The Congolese government says it targeted an aircraft which rebels claimed was delivering food aid before it was blown up in the district of Mbwe, close to the countries borders with Rwanda and Burundi. This was the news bulletin. Voices of those making the news at our package, but we'll take a short break to be right back. Welcome back at this juncture. We join Sam Andrews with the news bulletin.
On Tuesday, serious tension broke out between Deputy Health Speaker Thomas Fala and Bone County Representative Marvin Cole over discrepancy of lawmakers gas slaved. Representative Cole questioned Deputy Speaker Fala to provide answers regarding allegations of a gas slave discrepancy and concerns surrounding various benefits received by some members under the leadership of Richard Cohn. The standoff between the two lawmakers, which gone viral on social media, resulted to a near physical confrontation. Marvin Cole and other lawmakers are demanding clarification on the alleged mismanagement of gas slips and other benefits meant for lawmakers. The lawmakers are said to also be scrutinizing different benefits received by members of the lower house under Richard Cohn administration aside from fuel allowances. Representative Marvin Cole and others questioned the leadership of the lower house over its justification of the benefits, accusing the speaker and deputy speaker of carrying out untransparent resource allocation practices. The Liberian government, religious groups, and citizens have concluded a memorial service for the late President William R. Talbot Jr. in Monrovia. During the ceremony held at the Centennial Pavilion Tuesday, President Talbot and 13 officials of his government who were executed in 1980 following a coup led by Samuel Kenyon Dole, photos were displayed for public viewing and tributes. Several officials of government, key opposition political leaders, family members, civil society organizations, religious groups, among others, attended the state burial of the slain president. The occasion was also used by family members, government officials, and several others to pay their final respect. In a special service, President Boakai said the 20th president of Liberia and a former chairman of the Organization of the African Union, President Talbot, was known for his visionary leadership, bold reforms, pan-African spirit, and ensuring belief in the youth, social justice, and empowerment, among others. President Bouakai also called on elderly Liberians to teach the younger generation about life and leadership of President Talbot, not only as a former head of state, but also a symbol of faith, hope, and dignity in public service. The Supreme Court of Liberia Tuesday canceled its legal argument into the high corruption case involving former Finance Minister Samuel Twe and four others. Initially, Tuesday, July 1 was scheduled for the argument, but prosecuting lawyers have since questioned outgoing Chief Justice Sanin Yo legal standing to hear new cases and have demanded Justice Yo to step down. According to our judicial correspondent, the High Court cancellation of the argument was announced to the lawyers Tuesday by Councillor Sam Momolu, clerk of the Supreme Court, without appearance of the Chief Justice and Associate Justices in open court. Several Liberians have equated the cancellation to prosecuting lawyer stands against the outgoing Chief Justice, which questioned her legal standing to hearing new cases after she reached the retirement age of 70 on June 26, consistent with Article 72B. Meanwhile, Kings FM is yet to obtain official information that prompted the 11th hour cancellation of the high-profile corruption case legal argument. Former Finance and Development Planning Minister Samuel Twe, Councillor Yan Tuan, former Solicitor General Stanley Ford, former Director of the Financial Intelligence Agency Moses Cooper, former Controller of the Financial Intelligence Agency, and Jefferson Camo were inducted in 2024 by the Liberian government for allegedly embezzling over $6 million United States dollars and billions of Liberian dollars. The House of Representatives has mandated its Committee on Education to launch a full-scale investigation into the University of Liberia's current operational state and budgetary needs. The decision follows a communication from Maserado County Representative Rugi Barry, which called for an increment in the annual budgetary allotment to the University of Liberia from 33 million United States dollars to 45 million United States dollars. Representative Barry's communication to plenary highlighted that her district, which hosts the University Fender campus, is burdened with growing realities of the institution's constraints. She cited several pressing concerns, including deteriorating infrastructure, lack of basic utilities and equipment, deficiency in modern learning materials, among others. According to the House's Bureau of Press and Public Affairs, the hearing will require the authorities of the University of Liberia to appear and provide a comprehensive presentation justifying the requested budgetary increment, as well as to outline the institution's ongoing challenges and proposed intervention. The Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, with funding from the World Bank, has officially launched a 40 million United States dollars project aimed at connecting over 250,000 homes with pipe-borne water in Painesville and its surroundings. Speaking during the launching ceremony held at Omega Court Room on Tuesday, LWHC Managing Director Mo Ali disclosed that water will be connected to homes and it will be affordable. Mo Ali further encouraged community leaders to ensure that residents have in their homes the appropriate pipes in order to be connected, as the corporation would not be responsible to put away water systems in homes. He added that the Liberian government will also spend over 1 million United States dollars for the purchase of pipes and meters to connect the houses. The Liberia Intellectual Property Office says it will commence publishing the names of all expired trademarks beginning July 7. According to a release from LEPO, the move is part of efforts to improve transparency and maintain accurate and up-to-date trademark records. The release added that any trademark that has not been renewed or restored within the time allowed by law will be considered lapsed and removed from official registry. The Liberia Intellectual Property further said registered trademarks in Liberia are valid for 10 years with an additional 6 months grace period for late renewal. The authorities of Carisburg District, Montserrado County, have unveiled plans aimed at combating criminal gangs engaged in illegal sale of land in Carisburg, Louisiana, and Bento. Anthony Jackson Molu disclosed that as part of the plan, his office will be holding meetings with owners of estates and land to ascertain the genuine owners of properties in the region. According to him, one officer of the Liberia National Police was injured as a result of shooting by some gangs, while a sheriff of the court was stabbed by an unknown person. Anthony at-Law Molu explained that some of the criminal gangs are parading on people's land with deadly instruments, scaring away the original owners. He made the comments during an interview on Tuesday. And the Assistant Secretary General of the National Youth Congress of the ruling Unity Party has called on young people to see themselves as the pillars on which the nation's future would stand. Chris Pocan emphasized the importance of hard work in ensuring a better tomorrow, adding that no good life comes without hard work. He reminded the youth that there is no promising tomorrow without working today, urging them to take an active role in shaping Liberia's future. The Unity Party Youth Congress Assistant Secretary General message highlights the crucial role young people play in national development and the need for dedication and commitment to progress. Mr. Poca made the remarks while delivering the keynote speech at the graduation and closing ceremony of CTJ International School located in the Ara2 community.
Sam Andrews with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature on King's Newsroom. A reminder you listen to King's Newsroom 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories are following tonight. Bon County District 5 Representative Marvin Coe and several other lawmakers accused Speaker Rachel Kuhn and Deputy Speaker Thomas Fala of mismanagement of lawmakers' gas leave and other benefits. A serious tension broke out in the section. Government of Liberia, religious groups, and family members of slain President Richie Arrow Talbot Jr. holds state memorial service in Monrovia to honor the ex-president and 13 officials of his government executed in 1980. Supreme Court of Liberia announced its 11th hour cancellation of former Finance Minister Samuel Toy and 4 others' corruption case legal argument as prosecuting lawyers demand recusal of outgoing Chief Justice Yanin Blow from the case. Away from home, some 76 Ghanaians who were trafficked to Nigeria on a fraudulent recruitment scheme have been rescued, Ghanaian police say. The Congolese government says it had targeted an aircraft which reports claim was delivering food aid before it was blown up in the district of Manipo, close to the country's border with Rwanda and Burundi. Take a break to be back with voices. Welcome back and thanks for being there. On Tuesday, serious tension broke out between Deputy House Speaker Thomas Fala and Bon County Representative Marvin Coe over the discrepancy of lawmakers' gas slip. Representative Colley questioned the Deputy Speaker to provide answers regarding allegations of a gas slip discrepancy and concerns surrounding various benefits received by some members under the leadership of Speaker Rachel Cohn. This standoff between the two lawmakers, which gone viral on social media, resulted to a near physical confrontation.
What are you talking about? You're not a scam. You see what will pass you. I said, get a half session.
The lawmakers are also demanding the speaker and the deputy speaker to provide a transparent accountability of the allegedly misapplied lawmakers' gas slip. The government of Liberia, religious groups, and citizens have concluded a memorial service for the late President William Arrow Jr. in Monrovia. During the ceremony held at the Centennial Pavilion Tuesday, President Tobo and 13 officials of his government who were executed in 1980 following a coup by Samuel K. Though photos were displayed for public viewing and tributes. Officials of government, key opposition political leaders from the members, civil society groups, religious groups, among others, attended the state memorial service of the slain president. The occasion was also used by family members, government officials, and several others to pay their final tributes.
We stand before you in solemn remembrance of the injustice committed against our fathers, brothers, and uncles on our fateful day at the Barclay Training Center. Their deaths were unlawful. They were executed in violation of every principle of due process and human dignity. Their human rights were violated. Remember, Liberia is a signatory to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights even to this day. The pain of those executions continues to ripple through our families and across generations. Their deaths were not only a personal loss to us, their children and families, they were a stain on the conscience of our nation. Besides the lack of due process and denial of the right to appeal the case, death was not the punishment under Liberian law for any of the crimes of which they were accused. Justice was denied, and with it, the principles of fairness and humanity that should define us as a people. For years, we carried the pain in silence. We speak now because we believe silence helps no one. Our wounds may not be visible, but they are deep. They are the wounds of daughters and sons growing up with unanswered questions, wounds of widows who never saw their husbands return, wounds of a nation still struggling to come to terms with its past. Yet our grief does not exist in isolation. We recognize that the injustice done to our loved ones became a gateway to even greater suffering for many others. The seeds of violence once sown gave rise to civil war, ethnic division, and countless lives lost in the decades that followed.
In a special statement during the service, President Joseph Boakai said the 20th President of Liberia and former Chairman of the Organization of African Union, President Tobel, was known for his visionary leadership, bold reforms, pan-African spirit, and enduring belief in the youth, social justice, empowerment, among others. President Boakai also called on elder Liberians to teach the younger generation about the life and leadership of President Tobo, not only as a former head of state, but as a symbol of faith, hope, and dignity in public service.
He was known for his visionary leadership, his bold reforms, his pan-African spirit, his enduring belief in the young people of Liberia, social justice, economic empowerment, and the unification of all Liberians. He had a towering personality abroad and commanded much respect from the international community. He was a man of deep conviction and intense discipline. The Baptist preacher that called the statement of thy duty, he brought to the presidency sense of moral clarity and a deep commitment to building a nation where all Liberians would find dignity in their citizenship. His leadership was grounded in humility, integrity, and service. I did not serve under President Talk, but like so many of my generation, I was inspired by his intellect, his values, and his steadfast pursuit of a more equitable Nigeria. His policies sought to bring the rise of living poor and expand opportunity. The vision of the national development was anchored in the belief that Liberia could only thrive when justice and inclusion became the pillars of our democracy. This memorial, decades after his tragic death, is not simply a ceremonial gesture. It is an act of national conscience. It is a moment to restore dignity, to acknowledge historical wrongs, and to reaffirm our collective commitment to truth, justice, and reconciliation. We cannot reflect on this moment without acknowledging the long life of pain that shaped our nation's journey.
President Joseph Boakai, the speaking. The Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, with funding from the World Bank, has officially launched a $14 million United States dollars project aimed at connecting over 250,000 homes with purple water in Painesville and its surrounding. Speaking during a launching ceremony held at the Omega Courtroom on Tuesday, LWSC Managing Director Mo Ali disclosed that the water will be connected to homes.
Going to 2,500 homes across Painesville and Monrovia. That is a very huge number. Normally when people see water infrastructure where they can just open a pump and water comes out, they think it is the cheapest thing to do. When we manage to do it at a very low cost, people say, oh, they stole the money. They just dump where and put one pipe there, the water comes out. They say to connect 2,500 homes, what tender will be doing is going to cost us $1,486,887.50 to connect the 2,500. It's not cheap and it's not free. And we selected the houses based on survey conducted and enumeration, which was led by Akwe and the team at Water and Sewer. They identified the most vulnerable homes. Water and Sewer is responsible to bring water in the community, but Water and Sewer is not responsible to carry water to your house. For water to come to your house, you have to pay for that personal connection. And we identified the homes that really cannot afford to benefit from this project. But let me also say, with our experience in the past, where the World Bank sponsor connection and the people who were connected thought that, oh, because it was brought by World Bank, therefore the water is supposed to be free. That water you're using in the house is not free. We spend millions of dollars to purify the water and to pump it from White Plains through the pipes. The people who work, we got to pay them. So let me be clear from the beginning. They putting the water to your house, they will put meter on it. The quantity of water you use, you will pay for it. If you not pay, we'll call it, we'll tell our pipe, we'll carry it. We want to be clear from the beginning. You're the community leaders here. From day one you start using it, you pay. It is very, very cheap. It's 80 Liberian cents for 1 gallon of water. 80 cents. Not US, so you not even real $1 Liberian dollar. So at least you must be able to afford it. You pay. You not pay, we'll call it, we'll carry it. That means you don't want it.
LWSC Managing Director Mo Ali there speaking. A reminder you're listening to King's Newsroom, 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, in our one word. Stories we follow in tonight. Bond County District 5 Representative Marvin Cole and several other lawmakers accuse Speaker Rachel Cohn and Deputy Speaker Thomas Fowler of mismanagement of lawmakers' gas and other benefits. A serious tension broke out in section. The government of Liberia, religious groups, and family members of slain President William R. Thomas Jr. holds the memorial service in Monrovia to honor the ex-president and 13 officials of his government executed in 1980. Supreme Court of Liberia announces 11th hour cancellation of former Finance Minister Samuel Toy and 4 others corruption case legal argument as prosecuting lawyers demand accused of outgoing Chief Justice Janet Yo from the case. Away from home, some 76 Ghanaians who were trafficked to Nigeria on a bullet equipment scheme have been rescued, Ghanaian police say. The Congolese government says it targeted an aircraft which Rebels team was delivering food aid before it was blown up in the district of Mapa, close to the country's borders with Rwanda and Burundi. We take a break to continue with the voices. Welcome back and thanks for being there. Authorities of Carisbrooke District in Montserrat County have revealed plans aimed at combating criminal gangs engaged in illegal sale of land in the area. Antonin Jackson Molu disclosed as part of the plan his office will be holding meetings with owners of estates and land to ascertain the general owners of properties in the region.
We're trying to curtail the illicit land dealers and the crime rate. Have strategized putting in mechanism to see how I can minimize the illicit land dealers and get them away from taking the people's property. Several complaints comes at the various magisterial court, Bensonville, Carrisburg, and Tory, because I supervising the city solicitors in those various areas several times. How can one person have over 10 different letter of administration serving as a grantor for properties and things that have been conveyed for the knuckles, for example, for the Jackson, for the Dennis's? You alone can have over 10 different families here that you've been living with in the past. So those are giving signal that it's a criminal conveyance that they involved in. So I'm trying to minimize those things along with the district. I'm going to meet with all of the estate owner in Carrisburg district to start off with. Saturday, they have been meeting there at the city administrative building. The first thing here is that Carrisburg is block. It's a block form of property they put on here. It's not like other district or county property. So they only come in with their block number, giving indication, and we all put in mechanism the way forward that we can minimize. Because for me to see some other ethnic grouping coming in to acquire property here, you have some right, but you cannot be an administrator for an estate, called back to become an administrator for over 500 acres of land in Carrisburg, and not only for example, for the Dennis's. Sometimes they come in for the Johnson, they come in for the Jackson, the Robertson, the Knuckles. I mean, just name it. When I did some research in the various court files for the past 2 Oregon magistrates, I deduced that some individuals have over 5 different the power of attorney coming in as administrator for an estate for several different family heads. And these are people that will know that their parents are living, their children are living.
Antonin Jackson Molu there speaking. The Assistant Secretary General of the National Youth Congress of the Rural Unity Party has called on young people to see themselves as the pillars on which the nation's future will stand. Chris Poker has emphasized the importance of hard work in securing a better tomorrow, added that no life comes without hard work. He reminded the youth that there is no promising tomorrow without working today, urging them to take an active role in shaping Liberia's future.
We are now living in a fast-changing technological war, a war where information moves at the speed of light, where machines think, and where innovation shapes nations. Our country moves forward among the community of nations. It is not robot, iron ore, timber, coal, oil, or land that will define our place. It is our talents and our skills. You, our young graduates, are the architects of that future. There is no promising tomorrow without working for it today. Every book you read, every question you ask, every time you try, and even when it is hard, you are building the foundation of that future. You are writing the story of a better Liberia, a stronger Africa, and a more united world. To the parents and guardians, thank you. You are the first teachers in your children's lives. Your sacrifices, your love, and your guardians are what brought us to this day. Please do not stop now. The road is still long, and these young minds need your continuous support. To the teachers and staff, thank you for believing in these children. You are doing more than teaching lessons. You are building a new generation of thinkers, dreamers, and doers. This first graduation is a proof of your hard work and your faith in the future. To the community, thank you for supporting this school and making education a shared value. A school is not just a building with walls. It is a living promise to the next generation and to our graduates. This moment is yours, but the mission is ours. There is much more to do in the classroom, in our communities, and across the country. Let this graduation be a reminder that every small achievement matters, but it must lead to a greater goal.
Assistant Secretary General of the National Youth Congress of the ruling Unity Party, Chris Porker. The Asset Recovery and Property Retrieval Task Force has confirmed the discovery of more than 40 new suspected corruption cases across Liberia. The institution's latest disclosure followed days after the arrest of former Foreign Minister D. Maxwell Kimia and several other former officials of the WIA government, accused of allegedly misappropriating over 25,000 bags of 25 kg rice intended for vulnerable Liberians. Speaking on state radio Monday, the chairman of the task force, Councillor Edward Clark Mountain, disclosed that the cases range from theft of government properties to diversion of public funds for personal gain.
We have identified 40 suspicious properties. We are now evaluating the soul. We are evaluating the owners because we're also going into detail here, tell you what obtained and how the properties were gotten. Some people will jump in the street, but we won't do that. The outcome of our investigation will be shown to the Liberian people. And we're made to also even say that some of the bank accounts that we have identified, the millions of United States dollars that are part, the Liberian people will jump in the street. But we wouldn't say that until the result and the subsequent legal process ensues. But by and large, I'm just trying to say that there's a strange thing in our country that the president initiated. It has never happened before. Placing stolen assets is a strange thing in our country. And this public forum is to make the Liberian people to understand and to comprehend that what we are doing it in the interest of the country. I'm taking serious risk with my life. I'm taking risk for the life of my family because of the country. A job that we do, highly risky job. But because of the country, and we believe that someone has to make the sacrifice. Or not make the sacrifice for someone to take my life, but someone has to make the sacrifice at least for history to remember that, look, our part of the process to transform Liberia from this point to this point. And when you work in anti-corruption terrain, it gives you a third eye to see. What I would see in this country when it comes to corruption investigation, you now have to, because we are trained, we had the opportunity to be trained in West Africa and in some part of Paris, and we even went to the UK to have the opportunity. So where I'm seated personally, I think I am properly situated to understand and to bring to light and to set a checkpoint and to establish deterrence for the prevention of corruption and the prevention of stolen public access.
Councillor Edward Clark Mountain is the chairperson of the Asset Recovery and Property Retrieval Task Force. The National Custom Brokers of Liberia has sharply criticized the National Legislature's recent passage of the Liberian Sea and Inland Port Regulatory Act. Addressing a press conference Monday, NCBL President James Hinnon accused the legislature of passing the act without seeking the knowledge or participation of businesses, including stakeholders that are essential to Liberian trade.
The National Custom Brokers Association of Liberia, the NCBAL, would like to express deep shock and disappointment regarding the recent passage of the Liberian Sea and Inland Port Regulatory Act by the National Legislature. This critical legislation was passed without the knowledge or participation of the businesses that are essential to the Liberian trade. Stakeholder consultation is a cornerstone of sound and inclusive policy making. The absence of such engagement not only undermines confidence in the legislative process, but also raises serious concern about the sustainability and effectiveness of the law itself. We wonder if the motive is genuine. We are particularly alarmed by Section 306 of the Act, which introduces additional fees that will directly burden importers, exporters, shipping lines, and ultimately the Liberian consumer. Below are our specific concerns regarding key provisions. Section 306(1). The agency shall determine and collect regulatory fees from stakeholders for continual port development. The imposition of additional fees at each seaport will heighten transaction costs for businesses, placing an increased financial burden on stakeholders. There shall be a fee for each arriving sea craft paid over the agency. New vessel charges will likely discourage ship owners from bringing their ships to Liberia, resulting in fewer vessels and increased freight rates. Section 306(4). The agency shall collect charges from port operations and other entities necessary for financing the agency budget. This provision, which requires Liberia businesses to form the budget of another government entity, contradicts efforts aimed at lowering the cost of doing business in Liberia.
National Custom Brokers of Liberia President James Hinen. Away from home, some 76 Ghanaians who were trafficked to Nigeria on a fraudulent recruitment scheme have been rescued, Ghanaian police say. The victims, mostly young men, were lured with promises of football contracts with top foreign teams, job placements abroad, or assistance with visa processing. Upon arrival, their travel documents and mobile phones were seized, and they were housed in overcrowded rooms under poor conditions, police say. The victims are forced or were forced to contact their families to solicit about 1,000 United States dollars in the goals of paying training or facilitation fees. And the Congolese government says it targeted an aircraft which rebels claim was delivering food aid before it was blown up in the district of Mabon, close to the country's borders with Rwanda and Burundi. It is the latest violent incident in the region since a ceasefire deal was signed in Washington last Friday. The army claims it tracked the plane using radar from it had entered Congolese airspace without legal permission and bold no identification number, giving the force no choice but to take appropriate measures. But rebels allied to the M23 group, which has seized large parts of Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo this year, dispute this. Well, on that note, that's how we come to a near end of this edition of King's Newsroom. But before we leave, a quick reminder of stories we followed in the headline. Broom County District 5 Representative Marvin Coe and several other lawmakers accused Speaker Richard Cohen and Deputy Speaker Thomas Fowler of mismanagement of lawmakers' gas and other benefits. A serious tension broke out in the section. Government of Liberia, religious groups, and family members of slain President William Richie Arotobo Jr. hosted memorial service in Monrovia to honor the 8th president and 13 officials of his government executed in 1980. We also heard in the news Supreme Court of Liberia announces 11th hour the cancellation of former Finance Minister Samuel Tuah and 4 others' corruption case bigot argument as prosecuting lawyers demand recusal of outgoing Chief Justice Yanin Bill from the case. Away from home, some 76 Ghanaians who were trafficked to Nigeria on a fraudulent recruitment scheme have been rescued, Ghanaian police say. The Congolese government says it targeted an aircraft which rebels claim was delivering food aid before it was blown up in the district of Manda, close to the country's borders and Rwanda. And thanks to our reporters, correspondents, or those who have been making this edition of King's Newsroom Resources. Sam Andrews, Sarah Control, and handle the technical aspect of this edition. Emperor Chief News Bulletin. On behalf of the team, I'm Sherman Dale. I present it. Thanks for listening and watching.